Hello, people of the internet. So, I know I recently just put out a wheel speed sensor replacement video on the Wrangler. Dodge needs them. It's needed them for a while. I've just been lazy and not doing it because it's not a big job, but you got to pull the wheel and the caliper and the rotor and stuff off. So, just lazy and don't want to do it. But it needs to get done. I got new wheel speed sensors in, and I figured I'd try to walk you through what has to happen. Oh, let's see what we got here. All right, I'm going to start out on the passenger side, and I've already got the wheel and stuff off. Yes, I run wheel spacers, as I've got newer rims, and I'm going to do a video talking about how to properly do wheel spacers. It's kind of a rant, but it'll be there. Now you got to get the caliper bracket off, you got to get the rotor off, because the wheel speed sensor is this wire here, and it goes into the hub kind of under the rotor. And mine, I've got held on to the brake line with a bunch of zip ties, so I've got to cut all the zip ties out. The wire comes up the chassis and actually comes into the engine bay. On the passenger side, it is down here. It's a little easier to get to when you don't have a hot air intake going on. But on the passenger side, it is right there behind that shock, that gray connector. And on the driver's side, it is, I do believe, see if I can get everything in the shot. Possibly not. It's over here in this bundle of stuff. It's over here. So that's what we've got to do. I'm going to get to taking the rest of this apart, and we will show you what's got to go on and what's got to go back together. So hang out and let's see what happens. All right, so when you get down here, once the wheel's off, up here, this is held in with a body clip, Christmas tree clip. So take the tool, pop that free, get the line out of any and all of your little clip retainers and stuff. Make sure, if you're like me and you use zip ties, cut your zip ties. Now back here on the brake caliper, can I get the camera in? Probably not. There's one caliper bracket bolt. So this one here is the caliper bolt. This is the caliper bracket bolt. You need to take the bracket bolt out. There's one here, and probably can't get to it. Sorry about all the camera. There's one. Where is it? I can't see. There's one down there. There's one at the bottom. That's right there. That's it right there. For me, 16 millimeter 12 point fits it. I've already broken them free, so that'll work. And let's see here. I can get you in a stand and set up so that you can actually see what we're doing. Yeah, mostly. All right. So you get these guys out. And for caliper bracket bolts, I take a step out of Ford's book, and I generally use high strength Loctite on it. If anybody's worked on Ford trucks, there's usually a running joke about they didn't know what anti-seize was, but they sure as hell had invested in Loctite, because everything seems to be Loctited in place on a lot of them, at least in the Super Duty lineup. And I guess it makes sense. They're big heavy duty trucks, or what you need to do. All right, almost out. I probably should have used my air tool, but didn't feel like it. No, that's what you get. Two of them. Like I said, deep well works really good because you can clear everything up here. On the bottom you can use a shallow, but up here you really need the extra length. And those Fleabay stainless steel headers I put on this engine are roosty. Must have been some quality stainless steel. Quality with a K. Now, I got my little helper tool there, because you don't want your cable, your brake hose anyway, you don't want your flexible brake hose getting in. Take this off, and the sensor is right there. Now on mine, I have replaced these before. I've got a Allen key in there, stainless steel. That's my thing. But I think originally they come with a hex head bolt. Hey, Mr. Spider, how you doing? I got a thing about stuff with legs. Got too many or too little. Dies. One more zip tie. Take that out and show you how getting the new one in. Okay, so got all the necessary tools. The electrical plug has been disconnected and removed from the engine bay. It also has a little Christmas tree retainer on the engine bay side. So, you know, you need to pop that free. Get your bolt out. Get your sensor out. This one doesn't look too god awful. A little bit goopy, but not bad. No metal flakes. That's really what you want to prevent, is make sure there's no metal flakes. I'm going to reuse this. I don't necessarily know if you need to or not. It's just something I've always done. I'm also, let's see here, get a little bit of this. There's a sealing O-ring on here, and you just get a little bit of something on there. A little dielectric grease, the anti-seize, just a little bit of something. And the sensor is 10 miles long. They used all the copper in the world to make these. Yeah, real technical. Put the new sensor in. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure you still got a little bit of anti-seize on your bolt, because you don't want that seizing up in these hubs. That's a nightmare. I've had to deal with it. There's no, well, I'm sure there's a torque spec because it's a bolt, but I just put these in finger tight. They don't, no Gorilla Grip or anything. Just work them in until they cinch down. You want to make sure your sensor seats, which mine is not wanting to seat. So we're going to check that out. Okay. It just took a little bit more brute force than I wanted to use. Sometimes you got to get a little angry with it, I guess, and then stuff will decide to seat properly. So get this guy tightened back up. It's like that. Now, the real fun part is getting this 8 miles of cord run. You want to make sure you run it properly. Last time I did this, I ran it up here, over, under, and up. So that's what it's going to be. I didn't bring the right size zip tie for this. I just brought little ones. So we're going to get the right size zip tie. We're going to get a torque wrench. We're going to look up the lug specs, because I forget what the torque on the wheel studs are right now, or lug nuts. And we'll be back in just a moment. All right. And so if anybody's wondering, here's the specs for torquing the wheel studs. 5 lug half-ton trucks, single wheel 3/4 and 1 ton, and dual wheel 3/4 and 1 ton. For us, we're going to be doing 135 foot-pounds, but you know, yours may vary. There you go. Now, for the caliper bracket. So what they call it in this is the caliper adapter. Okay, there's light duty and heavy duty. You need to know which one you got. We're going to look at that's going to be a significant bolt size difference. I would say we are at the 130, but I am probably going to double check my measurements and base it off of the actual measurement on the bolt thread. You know what diameter the bolt is, the thread pitch, stuff like that. Because there's a strong chance that it's going to be the 210 instead. I believe in the way that this one's done, light duty versus heavy duty is half ton versus 3/4 and 1 ton. And these are the 2001 Chrysler service manuals. My truck is an 01, so I mean these are factory service manuals. It's not like a Haynes manual or anything like that. So I'm going to route the sensor. Like I said, here you go. And if you're worried about the actual caliper mounts, the little caliper bolts, the actual slide bolts, they're only go in at 24 foot-pounds. So that's that. But I'm going to go get everything buttoned up so we can try to go to the next side, and then we will hook up the launch and take out any of the trouble codes. All right, so this is how I do wheel spacers. I'm going to put a dab of anti-seize around here and around the hub lip. I've got high strength Loctite on all the wheel studs, and I've got my torque wrench set to 135 foot-pounds. So that's just what I do. It has worked for me over the decades. It has worked for guys that I know that race over the decades. It has worked on modern factory dualies where it's got the hub adapter to go on the wheel. Like I say, this is what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. Do it a different way. If you don't like wheel studs, don't like spacers, don't like wheel spacers. That's totally your choice. I can understand why you wouldn't, but they're not super evil. You don't have to worry about it if you do it right and if you buy good ones. Don't cheap out, buy quality. They say buy once, cry once, right? That. That. Which one? Nope. Had it right the first time. Usually, I like starting them by hand. Some people like to run them on with an impact before. I don't. I just do it slow and steady. Even when I was in a shop, I rarely did it like right out the gate with the Ugga Duggas. Yeah, it's worth taking the time. It's worth not breaking something. It's worth not deforming things. But you get the point. And when I go to put the wheel on, I'll put anti-seize on these threads, and then I will torque those as well. And it's 130 foot-pounds, 135 foot-pounds for the wheel studs, for the lug nuts, and yes, the caliper bracket bolts were 210. So the light duty stuff is half-ton truck. The heavy duty stuff is 3/4, 1 ton. I don't know if they made a light duty 3/4 ton in this series. All the ones I've ever seen are the heavy duties. So I don't know. I guess if you have a light duty 3/4 ton, use the light duty spec. So I think you know how to put wheels on. I'm going to stop this and just finish everything. Okay, so I got the driver's side off, and then I realized that I had to change over the plug on this when I first got the truck. So, you know, we're like the 472,000th owner on this truck, and when we acquired it, somewhere in its history, the ABS module had gone out, and instead of repairing it like we did, we sent it off and had it R&R'd. They decided to just cut everything out. They cut the wires to the pump motor, they cut the sensor, they cut the LED out of the dashboard because it's just a hardwired LED. And so this is what I had. You know, I have a bunch of WeatherPack stuff, and so I changed it over. But I had forgotten since the last time I've changed these. It's been a good while. And so now I have to change this over to this. So I've broken out my stuff, and then we can put that on. Then I can get to finishing things up. All right. Just, you know, be mindful, especially as everything starts to get older. People do their own types of repairs. They do what they've got to do. I probably should have gone and found a Chrysler connector, but honestly, you know, I had these on hand. They work just as well. It's fine. Just you know, do the repair properly. Don't half-ass it, and go from there. But you know, like I say, you know, this is a 01. So these days, you guys, if you're getting something like this, you're going to be running into them. They're old enough. You're going to find all that stuff. So let's get that fixed, and we'll come back. All right. So we've got the new wheel speed sensors in. I'm only looking at the left side. I spun the wheel once, and you can see it moving. I'm going to try to have my helper hold the camera steady. I'm here, hold the camera. Stay focused on the screen, and I'm going to spin the camera. I'm going to spin the tire. Yep. And there you go. You can see I got that doing. You know, if you're riding down the road and you have a helper to stare at the screen of the scan tool so that you don't have to, makes it a lot easier. But for this, that'll work fine. I've cleared out all the codes, so everything's good. And I'll get this on the ground, torque the wheel, and it'll all be done. So, yeah, that is how you... Whoa, that is a lot of sunlight. Holy shit. That's how you do front wheel speed sensors on probably 90... Well, I don't know when they added all-wheel ABS to these, but at least 98 to 02, 25 and 3500s. As they didn't change the body style on the 25 and 3500s till like a year or so later after the 1500. But that's how you change the front wheel speed sensors. Hopefully yours aren't cut up and modified the way mine are. And maybe you learned something. Okay, get out, have fun, go do something you like.